calling me pretty, call me Peng. You know they did this to my phone.
Today, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our spring season's keynote speakers. Drum roll, but well, over the last year, what started as a Finsta has propelled Patia Borja into being one of the most inarguably significant figures in the history of online memes working today. Together with Lena Berry at Mr. Vacation and River Moon at Saint.Deepthroat, she runs Patia's Fantasy World, a brew meme page which is known for posting, to quote The Cut, tongue-in-cheek memes, razor-sharp observations about Black culture and identity, with an activist agenda that counters the scores of superficial platitudes on social media, end quote. She's also one of the forces behind the page's comprehensive database of anti-racism resources, spanning a range of topics, including bail funds to donate to, resources for the Black trans community, literature and radical politics, and prompts for addressing racism in the workplace. Her page has succeeded in proving the potential power of virality and the influence that a large platform can provide on social media. Furthermore, she is a user experience designer and researcher, as well as a social media consultant based in Brooklyn, New York. At Patia's Fantasy World has been written about in W Magazine, Nylon, Playboy, The Cut, and Interview, amongst many others. And just this week, a very worthy congratulations to Patia, since she just had her walkway debut with the announcement of the new Muggler line. Thank you so much, Patia, for joining us today at the lab.
Thank you for having me. Oh.
We also have in conversation the honor of introducing you to Sacha Medjo, the mastermind behind Bard College Memes. Sacha is a senior in biology at Bard, native from Washington, D.C. They are currently researching love science, the study of attraction and love amongst us humans through the medium of pheromones, bacteria, and a lot of other fun things in a very serious science lab. It intertwines the promise of new biotechnologies and the exploration of one's queering and loving experience. Just like their project, Sacha lives at the intersection of art and science. In addition to their lab work, Sacha is also a musician, owner of a small crochet art business, and the sole admin of Bard College's most beloved and personally my favorite Bard College meme page, Bard College Memes, a page which, much like Patia, mixes a levity and geographically specific humor with serious work on Black culture and mutual aid initiatives. Sacha, thank you so much for collaborating with the Meme Lab for this event. We are delighted to have you both here in conversation. And we are very excited to have you here today. And just a question to start us off, I was wondering how your meme practice has changed since the foundation of both of your meme pages and where we are today.
Am I going first? Okay. Well, since mine did start off as a Finsta, I don't really have a specific reason as to why I made it public. I feel like for a while I was always pretty low key, like up until last summer. I think even when the account had like 5,000, 10,000, 20, like I don't think many people could really figure out who I was. So I think if anything, I've kind of like stepped back from it for a bit, just because like it is a lot to like have a lot of eyes on you. I also think it's like the more people and trolls we get, like I think the one thing about my account is that it's not really about original content. Like I don't care about credit. I mean, you know, we get people that yell at us all the time about not crediting them. I think it's because since it started off as a Finsta, like, you know, you wouldn't like comment, you wouldn't DM someone just because they didn't credit your meme in like their Instagram story. I also think like just the idea of thinking that you can own every single thing is like really weird. I just like don't, and I think a lot of it too is because they see like the success behind all three of us with the meme account. So in their minds, like people are like, oh, well, they want credit because like y'all are monetizing off of this thing, which like isn't really, that's like only a half true statement, because like River and Lena make music. They always have for years. Like I met them through partying and like going out. And like I make my money from like actually working like outside of like Instagram. So it's kind of I don't know, I guess if anything, I kind of stay logged out a lot. Like I've kind of taken a break from it for a bit, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's only changed because I've learned to like care less, because I think caring more just invites, like I don't know how to shut the fuck up. So like if I'm gonna read someone like coming for me on the Instagram, like yeah, I'm gonna like come for you. And maybe it's not a good look to like come for like a 17-year-old, but at the end of the day, like I wouldn't let a fucking child disrespect me on the street. So like I'm not gonna let it happen in person or like online. So that's so if anything, I've taken a break to engage in my real life. But also it's like weird because I kind of feel like, and I hate that I'm gonna say this because it's really cocky to say, but I feel like we birthed a lot of other meme accounts. And like most notably, like the format of Facebook text or just like the Instagram story text, which literally derives from like Black people. So when people want credit for rewriting one word, you're not gonna get it. Like, and I have this new rule now where you have to literally cash out all three of us and donate to a chosen GoFundMe, and then we'll credit you.
Well, that is a fantastic answer, and I'm so glad you're instating GoFundMe payments because about time. Sasha, do you have any ideas on the topic?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the page started, I started it freshman year because honestly, no reason. I just thought it was funny. And so I started the page, and there was another meme page before called Bard Meme Stash, and they had like 1,000 followers or something, and like 500 memes. And I DM'd them. I was like, "Can I have this account?" And they left me on red. So I started the Bard College memes account, and then it just like blew up past them. And then they DM'd me, "Hey, we saw that you're doing well, like to Bard College memes, and we're like, we're gonna shut this page down. Would you like to keep all the memes from like Bard Meme Stash or whatever?" So that was a funny instance in how like it started, was like just like rejection from the previous meme page. And then I feel like the way that I like make memes or whatever is just honestly a lot of funny shit happen on campus. Like y'all are ridiculous. I think a lot of funny shit happens on campus, and I just don't see it like a reason to not clown y'all slash myself. Um and it's just really funny. And for a long time the page was anonymous, no particular reason, just like there was no reason to like post my name or whatever. And then at this summer when we were going through our little cute protest phase, and all of that, I was like, I think y'all are forgetting who runs this page and who y'all are talking to because a lot of y'all seem a little confused and are talking out of your neck. So anyways, I had to set that clear for like 2 seconds, and then it kind of combined all of my like internet accounts into like one big block now, because all of them are interconnected now, like my Twitter, my main Instagram, and then this meme Instagram. Hi Logan. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now.
That's a fantastic answer. That sounds fantastic. And just on the topic, since we're on the topic of the protests last year, how do you think having a platform has changed the importance of, even though like it's a platform attained through Black humor, what do you think is the best way to use it after, at the point in time that we are now?
Just like anyone to use our platform, or
I mean, it's for both of you, so.
Oh no, but I mean, like, you mean like how should other people use the platform, or like how I use it?
No, how you use it.
Yeah, it's like I get conflicted a lot because I really don't think it's ever, especially like last summer, right? It's like I don't think it's the responsibility of any Black person to do any form of education, or I don't think it's like on anyone who's Black to even repost something. And like, I mean, the account has been around for like a few years, and like a lot of things have happened that like people didn't pay attention to, that were like Black people dying at the hands of the police. So I think when it was last summer, and I remember like me and my friend were like, oh, people are gonna protest because it's a pandemic. Like, no one would ever protest for 3 weeks straight if it wasn't a pandemic. Like, let's just be clear on that. And so I don't know, I was just kind of like, well, I think for me personally, especially being in New York, and like I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, so it's like I know what racism looks like in terms of like what people think Southern racism, like racism in the South looks like. But I think in liberal cities, people have a hard time grasping that they're also a part of the problem, because like Trump is the boogeyman, right? So it's like everyone, I mean, I can't think of anyone personally that I'm around that would vote for Trump, but at the same time, I don't think that those people are not complicit of like how things are. And so yeah, I was like, I guess like when it was like May, June, and I was like, fuck, like what do I do? Because like I want to keep posting memes, but knowing a lot of people personally who like all of a sudden are caring about these issues, and it's not to say that people can't just all of a sudden care about them, it is kind of like a bittersweet thing though, because it's like no. Like I don't know, it was just, I think it's performative for me when it's like I know certain people, and so then I knew what it was going to turn into. I knew, because I feel like when you're Black, like what happened last summer is so a part of your everyday life in all actuality, that like, you know, people are going to protest. There's like a timeline. Oh, I wish I remembered. I remember like me and my friend, we would like place bets on like what each day would look like for like certain people we knew. And I was just kind of like, like, I really don't give a fuck about posting anything related to that. Cause like, I knew that our fan base and followers were predominantly Black. And it's like, why traumatize other Black people with that shit? Like, unfortunately, like it is a very desensitized thing for many of us. But then I was just kind of like, you know what? Like, I literally want to keep posting memes, but I'm gonna make a database so that like that toolkit is out there, and I'm gonna go back to posting memes. Cause like I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't really go far with like protesting and donating. Cause like if you don't know what you're protesting for, and if you're not willing to admit that you are part of the system and problem, then that protest is like very useless. Like I don't care if you got arrested, you know, like I saw so many non-Black people getting arrested and like posting about it, and I was like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Cause like you don't get the cookie for like, I don't know, using your body to protect someone. It's just not a thing. But I also feel like people feel that way because that's what like social media tells you. It's like every infographic is like, this is what you do. And it's like, I don't need to be protected by people who don't know my history and don't understand how it's a part of my day-to-day life. And I don't need to be coddled. So I think I use my platform in like a very direct way to kind of express those things. And I think I also used it because like, you know, like I doubt there's like some like MAGA people following me, right? So it's like, I know who I'm talking, like I know my audience with that account, you know, I know my analytics, like I worked in tech. And so my whole goal, or I don't know, it was just kind of honestly to like wake people the fuck up. Like, it doesn't matter that like, it doesn't matter that you like hate Trump, you know what I mean? Like racism existed during Obama. Like it doesn't matter. But I think a lot of it is like people do need to be held accountable individually, and they do need to know that they are complicit, and like in terms of like the lack of speaking up. And I don't know, but I think the thing too is like when I got a lot of traction with the database and using my platform, it like kind of pissed me off in some ways, because it's like I had less than like a lot of people. Like, yeah, you can have these followers, but like I was like crashing on my friend's couch. Like I didn't even have the lease on my apartment that I live in now. So it's like I did this thing without having anything, with having maybe like $50 in my bank account, probably still I was like shoplifting at the Rite Aid by me for food. And so I find it for me very frustrating when people like don't know what to do or don't know how to navigate that. And so I feel like on the account, sometimes it did come off as like a lot of frustration, but I also think it was like rightfully so, because I see people every day, even people around me that have more access and resources. And people would always be like, you know, I do interviews and they'd be like, oh yeah, like why'd you make the database? And I would always be like, well, why didn't you do it?
Yeah, that is a fantastic answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sasha, do you think that the conversation is similar? Is there like a stark difference at Bard? How has the meme page informed your Bard experience?
I feel like it's pretty similar, honestly, because I feel like, I don't know, obviously I agree on like first and foremost, like Black people shouldn't have to be doing the work and like reposting this stuff, and like y'all really go to Black people's pages stories every morning and be like, what did you post in your story today that I can repost? Like people do that on the daily, and it's very disturbing to me. And I feel like with posting and sharing what I find about mutual aid, it's really a day-to-day thing, because like this is my daily life. Like sometimes I really don't want to think about this and talk to y'all, and like honestly, infographics really fucking suck, but like this is all some people actually read. Is like they come on Instagram and read like 6 slides and are like, okay, this is my education for the day. Like they're doing that very seriously. And it's sad. But if I find like something that I can share and that's like informative, I'll pass it along. But if I don't feel like it, I just don't feel like that. And like I have no one to answer to. So yeah, I definitely agree with you, Patia, on like what you were saying. It's pretty much the same for me. And that point in May where I was like, oh, should I like pause from taking memes? But I was also already on pause because I was just not having a good time. And then just realizing that like I really actually don't care, and gonna keep it pushing, because nothing has really changed in my personal life and my experience as a Black person. So
Yeah, I think a lot of it too alludes to like, I always say that representation is a myth because it doesn't make anyone's life easier, like at all. And it's like a luxury to think that someone's representing you when you're not actually oppressed or like dark skinned or Black or like, you know, you don't fit in anything. It's really easy to think that like what's sold to you is like the right thing. And I kind of see a lot of like non-Black people buy into that too, with like who's marketed as like the Black woman we're all supposed to like, just like whether it's pop culture, politics, or anything. I don't know, I guess I kind of wish people would think for themselves. It's like funny how like you see people posting infographics, but they're like never posting a screen cap from an essay on JSTOR. So you're like not reading. Like, and you know, it's like I think people don't realize like Black people, like we have to actually read those essays. Like those are the things that like, that's why like even like Black culture memes is like such a thing. Like I've only been to like 3 states, but like on that account, I can relate to like a Black person in every state because there are like cultural significant things within our community. But also like we, because like I guess, you know, America was built on slavery, and like many of us don't actually, you know, it's like I can't probably trace myself of where I'm from in Africa. Like that's not, if I asked, I think I asked my dad that once and he was like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Like we American, like we were brought here, don't know what to tell you. But it's like if I have to constantly read and like educate myself on my own history, like it is insulting if someone else's knowledge and information is from like an infographic. Because I'm just like, you're just part of the problem. It's also so easy to post an infographic. And I think it just becomes this, and I think the thing that's so stupid about posting infographics is like, you know, you see these hashtags and stuff, and I'm just like, when you know, when you know certain people and you're like, you don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
I would rather you post your vacation than some bullshit about like BLM and like oh my god, like even on like Trans Visibility Day, like everyone who was posting that I knew, I was like, you don't have one trans friend and you've never reached out. You've either asked like a really offensive question. So like, can we just like cut it out?
I feel like a lot of the people that like repost, like they like post like infographic and then a picture of them in Mexico and then another infographic. And it's like the type of people that will like text you when they see something really traumatic on TV and they're like, oh, how are you? My singular Black contact in my phone. Like it's all that same group of like.
And I also hate like I guess the conversation of like, if there's anything I can do, and I'm like, y'all know my Cash App.
Quite simply.
Like,
like my coin.
You know my Cash App. Like, what would make me feel better? Like, okay, you know, like, okay, like hypothetically, right? Like if I'm gonna think about Breonna Taylor and all these people and all these tragedies, and like, no, I don't want to sit and talk to a non-Black person about that. Like, I don't. Give me money, give me some type of resource that I can use to like get to a better place in my life. And like, I don't know, I think that's also like, I feel like it's like the unspoken like thing about like the Black community too, is like we want better for ourselves so that we like, I mean, yeah, we like obviously like racism and like those tragedies can occur no matter how much money you have, and like we all see it. But like, you know, I think it is this like glimmer of hope, right? It's kind of like this like Uncle Tom thing too, where it's like, well, if I just have like one more resource, then like that makes me like that can't happen to me. Even though that's not the truth, but it's like, yeah, like when people are saying like donating to GoFundMe's and direct action, like I don't know, it's also weird when like people are so happy that they gave like $500 to like some organization that either benefits AAPI or like Black people, and it's just like, why don't you just give that to the people around you?
Exactly.
Because I'm gonna say like when like a company, if like a brand, a company or a person, if like anytime I see someone being like, oh my god, like, you know, we donated like $300,000, it's like, I don't get that money. And it's also insulting because now you think you're doing a good thing because you're helping this blind thing. I'm like, great, you're helping like nonprofit like employees get paid.
No, I think it's really crazy, and I'm honestly just gonna come for someone who's in this Zoom right now.
Let's go.
But I think that it's really interesting just with my crochet stuff. I'm doing crochet and someone else started doing crochet, and that's fine, you know, competition, like the devil work fast, I work faster. That's fine. I love competition. I will crochet harder. But what really sent me is 30% of my revenue goes to Black trans people. From what I know, when I make crochet is 100% of my revenue goes to Black trans people. And that's the kind of thing that I keep on seeing happening. It's like, okay, y'all are so happy you donated so much to like GoFundMe, blah, blah. But then someone that you went in class with the other day said that they were struggling with groceries and you're deaf.
Yeah. And I don't get it. It's the craziest thing. Like I see so many people being proud, you know, like when it's like the Match Me PayPal donations, I'm like, my PayPal is open. Like, what are you talking about?
But yeah, that's all I have to say.
And you should say it. Well, we're going to start taking audience questions in a bit. So if you want to type them into the chat, we can start picking some. I also just want to say I love the fact that you both have a background in STEM. And I feel like it's important to remember that people do things outside of memes.
Yeah, like my favorite is when people like when they're mad I didn't credit or they're like DMing me a million things. Like I look at the DMs, but I only open if it's about money. And people will be like, I know you see this. And I'm like, I do see it. And I'm still not going to respond because I got shit to do. You know, I'm just like, the email is on there. If it's important, email it.
Based on the question about STEM, someone did type in the chat, based on your background in UX, Patia, design, do you have any faith in the Instagram algorithm to sincerely push for mutual aid and reparations? I'm curious as to how including the anti-racism master lists, you are conscious of the algorithm and how you can actually generate engagement towards mutual aid. Sorry if this question is redundant. Ask her. Yeah.
I always told myself when I turned 30 I would delete having like an Instagram and stuff, and I hope that within the next 2 years people delete their Instagrams and start actually doing real work. I guess I don't really think about algorithm at all, really. Like, I think me, River, and Lena really function. Like, okay, so even when that account was a Finsta, like multiple people had the password. So it's always kind of been that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the things I've been doing in school and like UX, I like do outside of Instagram. Like I don't keep Instagram in my mind because I think that's the problem, is that like so much is circled on Instagram. And I get it, like we all spend a good amount of time there. Like, I mean, who the fuck is on Facebook? But I just think that like, I don't know. I think that like to get serious, it has to be like people have to actually think for themselves. I don't know if that answered. Not trying to sound negative about Instagram, knowing that I have 2 blue check accounts. I just also, I think the thing for me is like, I always check myself with reality, right? So it's like, you know, like some of my friends will be like, oh, that's so cool, like so-and-so follows you. But I'm like, yeah, like, but I'm in, like, there's a real world. Like, there's people who like that Instagram doesn't reach. And like, I think I've just kind of been wanting to mainly like shift my life into like accessing that and providing for those who don't have those resources. And also I think also like Instagram isn't really something that I ever got all my information from. Like I liked looking at memes for like the past 5 years. Actually, I've had Instagram since 2011. So that's what I did, looked at memes. As like ever since I was little, like if I wanted to know about something, I like researched it. And so I hope that like, I don't know, I guess it's hopeless. I don't know, it might be like too hopeful, but hopefully people can shift into like, if you genuinely care about things, you like research it.
You have also said in interviews before that, and this might tie to this a little bit, but that like Twitter's for smart people and Instagram's for dumb people.
Yeah, because I think
so I guess my question
by that.
Wait, but I guess my question with that is, do you think there can be digital interfaces that do that can help, as long as they're not like Instagram? And then also just the Twitter thing is super funny.
I stand by that. I think to like get your point across in like 140 characters is a very intelligent thing, like learning how to be concise. Even the people who make threads on it. I also think a lot of people, and people I know, be like, oh, I don't really like Twitter. And I'm like, why? And they're like, I have to read. And I'm like, see, that's the fucking problem. People don't want to read a tweet, but y'all want to repost infographics. So I know you didn't read the infographic. Because if you can't read 140 characters, you can't read it. You can't read a 6-slide infographic. Like, you just can't. Interface wise, I don't know. I mean, I'd be down if there were more things like Twitter that existed. Like even if Twitter took away like a photo feature or video or something. Yeah. That's all I have.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. There's some more questions coming in through the chat. And apologies if I miss any of your questions, but LG asks, thoughts on how mutual aid accounts and threads have been gaining ground on Instagram and Twitter. And I think the question above this can kind of tie into this, which is just says next meme wave ? So I guess, what are you guys seeing happening right now in these terms, in both terms of like humor as well as mutual aid initiatives? Like,
yeah, I like mutual aid a lot also, just from like having friends and knowing that like that account does reach people that have a lot more resources. I think it's really strange though when like really rich people post GoFundMes because I'm like, why don't you just give the 20,000? Like, I don't know why anyone who makes over like 6 figures would like share something where I'm like, you can just open your wallet. What was the second part of the question?
If you have an opinion on that
Oh,
sort
like,
of thing in regards to stuff like memes.
I don't know. I always think about this because sometimes like in our group chat, like, okay, it's really funny because sometimes people drag me and try to like, anytime we post anything political or like anything about like what's going on in the world, like there's always someone who's gonna call me woke and politically correct. And I'm always like, bitch, if you saw our group chat, like, no. So I don't know, maybe more like letting loose. I kind of like, people need to be savage. I'm kind of over the whole like, I don't know, some of the memes now that I see, and I like really try not to look at other memes because like I don't laugh at them. They're not funny. There's only like one meme account that I like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the next trend will be. It'll probably be something that like me, River, and Lena did that we didn't even try to start as a trend. I mean, like we basically brought in the word kundal to like the entire country. So I mean, do people know what kundal means? It means ketamine. But I've seen like people in the Midwest, like Lena coined it, and I've seen people like the Midwest say it. I'm like, what? So I don't know. I think whenever we all lurk the comments and stuff, like we all see the influence in small doses. So I don't know. Hopefully deleting accounts is the next thing.
Sasha, how do you feel about that?
I definitely, I mean, to answer the question, I feel like deleting the account is also the wave, but probably for different reasons. I just think that there's a point where like after college, probably I'll just be like, oh, I'm like kind of over Instagram already, but I'll just like be too old for this shit. Like I really don't care. When I go on Instagram, I post, but I don't really scroll. I never really look at people's stories, though I do post a lot of them. But yeah, I just feel like Instagram doesn't really, it's kind of a dying platform for me.
I think a lot of it too can sometimes feel like if I personally was not someone who was like, I was never young and wanted to like be famous or be in the spotlight or anything, because I think I was always like really empathetic. So whenever I'd see like Britney Spears going through it, I was like, that sucks. Like there's so many eyes on her. But like that's literally like what life is sometimes. Like, you know, I post something, I get trolls, death threats all day. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, it's weird because it's like whenever people call the account funny, it's like a compliment and it's a good thing. But sometimes it kind of is like, damn, are we like the minstrel show for people? Just in terms of like what people appropriate and like, you know, like the language and rhetoric they take from the meme account. And so I think that's why it gets kind of like, well, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about credit. Like, because it's like, I think we all, at least me, we're really like, we have to treat it like it is just Instagram, because the moment you start treating accounts like that, like it's not just Instagram, you've like lost the narrative.
It's like too bad. Yeah.
You've like built, you've like put a narrative on someone that didn't ask for it. You know, it's like, I don't ask for this shit. And so, but I think about like the minstrel show thing a lot, because it does make Instagram really annoying when like, because it kind of just proves like, it proves that like Black culture is like, it's
the blueprint.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm not making money off of that account like that. You know what I mean? There's like so many other white meme account owners that make money off of like shit like that. Like I work, like I pay my own rent and bills. Like if I want to buy a Louis bag, I will, but like that money is not being made from like a meme account.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sasha, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're pretty much on the same page. Like, Instagram is to be taken lightly. Like, I get also trolled a lot on the meme account, and just like both by people who like currently go to Bard, and just like people who just want to be around and talk to me, and I don't want to talk to them. And it's just Instagram. Like, I don't get into it. Like, I will curse you out and block you and keep it pushing. Make sure I cuss you out first, though, for sure. But yeah, it's really just Instagram. I don't like take that shit home with me, or like I don't really think it's like that important to like my personality. Like, there's outside, you know? Like, there's real life, there's other shit to do. Like, I have work, I have like a demonic thing of laundry here that I did today because I didn't do laundry for the whole month because I'm studying every day. Um, like, yeah, I just feel like the way that Instagram has now come forward, it's so invasive of like a lot of people's privacy, not because like they let Instagram, well, yeah, no, people let Instagram run them, honestly, and I just like don't have the time or patience for that. And unfortunately, like I don't think like it's going to continue for very long, my presence on Instagram. But it is useful, you know, and like the meme page is funny. I connect with people, I talk to people. Like, it's still a kiki, but there's other things to do, you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. We also had a little question on the chat about Tumblr, and I was wondering if you guys were ever on Tumblr.
I was popping on Tumblr. I was popping each platform: Zanga, LiveJournal, Tumblr.
I was popping on LiveJournal.
I literally remember when we locked down in March last year, I told my friend, I was like, the meme account is gonna blow up because like influencer culture is over. No one wants to, like, people are dying. The last thing you want to see is like some girl with her tagged clothes, you know. It's also just tone deaf. Yeah, I was pretty successful with like every internet platform, but so I guess like the Instagram thing kind of came natural. And I think the thing about it too though is that like I remember back in like LiveJournal and Zynga, like you could tell people to kill themselves and like people would act right. So like the fact that you can't do that no more sucks. Like I get death threats all day, but let me comment kill yourself to someone calling me the N-word. I'm getting banned. Like I would get banned. You know what I mean? Like racist people flourish on Instagram. Black people do not.
I still say it.
It's just like
girl die, goodbye.
I just think that like that era, because I'm 28 now, so it's like when you grow up around like knowing the internet in a way of like, yeah, there's real people behind these things, but also like it's the internet. Like, you know, back then on AOL chats when I was 13, if someone told me to kill myself, I wasn't like depressed about it. I was just like, damn, savage, you know, should I never go back in this chat again? But I think now with Instagram and like the way people really want to know everything about everyone's life, it's like people don't really, I guess, okay, like here's a good example. It's like every time someone's like, oh, but your page is public, whenever I'm like, why the fuck are you saying this? I'm like, if someone's like, if you're walking down the street and you see an apartment door and it's open, would you go in that door? No, that's crazy. So like I kind of think the same with the internet. Like, yeah, it's internet and it's space and it can be a public account, but like that doesn't mean that you can like harass people. And you damn sure aren't going to be non-Black and harass people. That is just like crazy. Like that's when I'm starting to look up where you work. And so yeah, it's like weird, you know. It's like, and it's funny because it's like everyone wants to be like, oh, it's just Instagram, and it's like, cool, so like why are there like 30 stories about me that aren't true? Like people really make up narratives. Like I intentionally try to be very, very private in terms of personal details. Like, and I mean, I find out something new about myself every day.
I also just wanted to ask a quick question, just because it seems like both of you very rightfully so hate Instagram. So I wanted to ask if you see your practice within memes, within comedy, as something that could exist outside of Instagram, or that you aspire to exist outside of Instagram, or does it live and die at Instagram? I'm just wondering with that. Especially with you, Patia, because you also have like a group that you're working with, really, with the fantasy.
I think it dies at Instagram. I think like outside of it, like I'm not that funny. I wasn't a class clown growing up, right? Like I think when people laugh at things I say, like people that know me and stuff, it's just because I'm like really blunt. Yeah, so I think for me it dies at Instagram. I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'm also just like, do we need to laugh anymore? Do people like what are we laughing for? Shit is happening.
But true. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it ends at, I don't see how there could be like a meme format outside of Instagram, and like if it's over, it's over, and we're gonna like move on and do other things.
I also kept thinking about how like, I don't know, I think like growing up, I would watch like really old like Black movies, and I feel like I remember one time I was like, you know, like I don't know, in my opinion, I just feel like Black people are literally the funniest people. Like I grew up watching like Martin Lawrence movies and like all that shit, and that was just like way funnier than like Dumb and Dumber. And I remember being like, damn, like I feel like back then during slavery, like they must have had like the bomb ass jokes to like survive those fucking horrible days. And so I really feel like it's like genetic and ancestral. Cause like Black people literally can like laugh and like find common denominators through the tragedies, such as like last summer. Like I feel like every Black person I know, we were making like protest jokes about people.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Did I just expose this?
It's simply true.
I'm just like, I'll laugh through the craziest shit. Like when you've seen shit and you're like stuck in a certain skin tone that literally you get killed for, like I don't.
What else can I do but laugh?
Yeah, because like I feel like the thing that's also bittersweet about blowing up in the way that the meme account did is that I've literally always been someone, especially in New York, who has always like stood up for myself. I've like spoken up if I felt like I was being spoken to incorrectly. Like I am a tone checker. And so it's weird to like get praise and notoriety for something that like I was dismissed of, even in a city like New York. So it's also why I'm very not so trusting of people who like quote unquote, and you know, there are people that are trying to do good and good for them, but like I'm not very trusting of that. Because I just saw so many people praise me for something that I'm like, a year ago, I like brought up something and you said that white bitch wasn't being racist, said it was too much. So yeah, I don't know. Everyone's fake. I'm just kidding.
Well, in the theme of meme pages and the future of meme pages, Sacha, we talked about this a little bit in the pregame, but what are your plans for Bard College memes once you graduate? You're willing to share, of course.
Yeah, I don't really know. I was thinking of passing it down to someone, obviously a Black person. And then I was like, maybe I'll delete it. I don't really know what's gonna happen to the page after graduation. I'm definitely not gonna be making memes about Bard anymore, just cause like get my diploma and going. I'm closing that book. No more Bardiana. But yeah, I feel like I don't know if the page will stay up or if I'll delete it or something. But yeah, I definitely won't be making any more memes after June 1st. Done.
I wanted to ask this question that Larissa asked in relation to all of this. Why do you think memes became the repository for humanity expressing existential ennui or systematic issues that indicate the human condition? And what would be the healthy way for people to express these more complex aspects of being oppressed?
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll ask you. No problem, no problem. Why do you think memes became... I'll also just...
I fucking shit myself.
Thanks, Nick.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Nick.
I left like I was not here.
I copied and pasted Larissa's question into the chat if you want to look at it again.
I bet.
Okay.
Sorry, that was me, y'all. I got a little wordy with it.
I think what I define as a meme has actually already existed, like as like my slavery thing. I think white people have an addiction to controlling and owning things. Because I don't even think I was calling them memes back then when they were images that I saw on Tumblr of the same text format. And so I think when white people colonize things, it kind of brings this energy of like, oh, this is for everyone.
Yes.
You know, and so I guess that's why, like for the meme account itself, like I'm very strict about it being for Black people, run by Black people. And I don't care, like, you know, it's funny because it's like, I'll be like we'll be like Black people only in the comments. And it'll be like everyone who's not Black being like, oh my God, I do this too. And I'm just like, it's just like, you know, okay, like I know that we just talked about how like the internet is just the internet and like Instagram, but it's like, goddamn, like can one thing just not be colonized, and that being my meme account that was actually a personal account.
Right.
And I see a lot of people comment too whenever I'm like trying to bully children, rightfully so though. And people are like, yeah, well, like you have a meme account. And I'm like, bitch, this is my login. So I feel like, yeah, comedy's like always been there, and like what, I don't know. I guess for me, sometimes it's annoying because I just feel like what I knew was memes and my exposure to it really was from like a Black people only perspective. And I didn't realize that like you could really profit off of these things, and like you could get paid. And like I kind of also feel like every single meme sort of is like stolen or like a take on something a Black person already made. You know, it's kind of like when like even like the phrase like bitches be like, and using like African American vernacular in these memes, which I think is something a lot of people don't realize, that it's like, yeah, like everything about memes is like appropriated. And now some became this thing of like, it's for everyone, you know, like because white people take things and all of a sudden it's for everyone.
It's crazy because one thing that you said too, I don't know if I'm supposed to be jumping in, so sorry to the moderators, but I'm doing it. I feel like something you said earlier, you said that, you know, everything that we experience is also then co-opted and or colonized, or once, you know, white people hear of something, get a whiff of something, then they colonize it and then it becomes for everyone. To me, as like, I'm a 30-something, like, you know, Black woman, like memes to me were white people encapsulating or learning how Black people have lived through their oppressed experiences and then turning it into comedy for everyone also, which was like that weird, what was that weird fucking thing that was like those meme stickers with like Victorian characters who were saying like modern things? Do you guys remember this? Called like e-cards or some shit. Do you remember this? It was like memes on Facebook from like 100 years ago, where it was like literally like Victorian characters who would say modern shit like we were saying, which is actually frightening to think about. Yeah, like literally putting Victorian characters in this experience, like to recapture our experience and then market it back to everybody as like, ooh, that's weird. Okay, just wanted to ask that. Thank you.
No, it's really crazy. Like every single thing really is like co-opted.
Mhm.
And it's like funny because, and I bring it up just because like there are people who, the mad we didn't credit them people, and it'll be like a white person, and I'm like, you have, okay, you redid a meme that started with bitches be like, no, we're not, I'm not even gonna get into it. Like you didn't, that's not your phrase. I'm sorry, try again.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm also like, can people live in the reality? Like your little clever one-liner meme will never make you millions of dollars, so drop it. Because if it did, I would be a billionaire. I would not be in here. I would not be in my room. I would be on vacation.
Yeah.
Also, if you really need credit, just watermark your shit.
Correct. Thank
Next,
you for
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to add to that. I just think that like for memes in particular though, I like memes because they're honestly like you were saying, you're like more savage because everything is like censored now and you can't really even make fucking jokes anymore without being called something or insulted, and memes just let you lay it out.
Yeah, and to go back to what you were saying, Larissa, because I thought about it but forgot to say it in the moment. But yeah, I think it's like the laughing through pain that Black people do. And like I've like noticed this trend and like white people like loving to drag themselves, you know, like psych ward jokes. I'm actually a psych ward resident, but it's like white people who are like happy to be crazy. I'm like, no, bitch, you need to get checked. Like, we cannot have crazy white people walking around this planet. I'm sorry. Like,
correct.
like I'm not about to do that self-deprecating, haha, like you got mental, oh no, sis, let's fix it.
Right. Because also then that's like the diagnosis.
Yeah, like you need to get diagnosed. Like, you cannot have crazy white people around. But it's funny because it's like that's like a thing that they laugh at now. And I think it's like this copying of like, well, Black people laugh at each other. You know, Black people laugh at like, you know, like frontal jokes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so like white people started being like self-deprecating, and I'm just like, no, like, that's, you've taken it too far.
Right.
Should we do another question?
Don't be shy.
Whoever has, I don't know what's in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was one question. Someone asked this and I was curious about the answer. What are your thoughts on white people co-opting AAVE by calling it internet slang?
I'm sick.
Same.
That's all.
I saw this like really, I wish I had it so I could like screen share. I saw this tweet and it was someone like defining what period cis, and like they gave it all like these very fucked up definitions. Like, I forgot what one word was, but it was like the sound of a whip back in slavery, the slaves. Oh my God, if someone can please find that and screen share, I'd be so happy. Because the way I described it makes no fucking sense, but yeah, I'm over like,
sorry.
Yeah, I like the internet slang thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, no, that's like actually like ebonics, like these are real things that also actually literally stem from slavery and language, since like Black people literally were prohibited to learn how to read and write.
Isn't it crazy that people like forget that shit, but they've also probably read, you know, authors who write in that same like language slash.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all never
like,
read I'm like, y'all never read Zora Neale Hurston? Y'all really think that like the slang we're saying right now was invented 10 years ago? Like it's literally been there, especially like if you're from the South, like that's literally how people talk.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is a crazy conversation.
There's a question to the moderators.
Yeah, Nico asked this question. Nico like to ask, as non-Black people, with how we feel as though we have an authority to ask about memes when laughter is frankly survival for Black folks, and both these pages reflect that. Our answer is we're not trying to be an authority. We're just trying to provide a platform for discussion. However, this does also bounce off of a comment that somebody left, which is, should white people follow Patia's fantasy world? And I was wondering if you could talk about how you feel about white people following your accounts.
Yeah, everyone always asks me this. I'm always just
I do want to quickly apologize. Someone did point out I'm answering for the other moderator. So Maria, if you would like to.
Oh, no, I completely agree with that. I just wanted to point out that we're really interested in research. We're an open group, and we really don't have any authority at all. Generally, we're just here to provide a platform.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that, but I do. Wait, can you guys hear me? I'm like connected to the TV.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting though, because like in terms of the questions and even like the thought of like something like a meme practice as like something academic kind of grates me, especially, I mean, like me and Sacha both have family in this, like I'm from the South. Sacha has like so much family from the South, and Patia also mentioned that she was from the South, and like, I don't know, like I do think it rubs me the wrong way on some level that like there's an academic career to be made off of doing something like analyzing memes or like doing like meme research, when like a lot of it is based off of taking the labor that Black people do, or not even like, I wouldn't even necessarily qualify it as like labor. Like Black people are just funny as shit. Like we are like mad funny like 100% of the time. And so taking that and being like, I'm doing memetic research, especially in the context of this talk of like two Black creators who are like mad funny and like bring me joy on a daily basis. Like Sacha, that's my sibling. Like y'all are kind of like creating this almost like framework. There's like a confine to like this Zoom in a way where you're kind of like gaining things to talk about in your own work and in your own academic practice as a result of like purportedly giving people like opportunities and like platforms to speak. And that's kind of like the tension that I'm seeing that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know.
Yeah, well, first of all, we're not an academic practice per se. It's like, I'm not, we're just like generally researching for now. So, we're going to have
and also not even, we're a student club. There's not a lot of research. That's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing.
And I feel like we at the Meme Lab understand the importance of like the Black community in meme creation and meme like dissemination. And we're very interested in giving a platform to Black creators before we like comment on their work or any other work. We understand the importance, and that's why we had Sacha moderate the Patia event. We wanted understanding between the general. I understand that I'm not the best person to moderate this, but there's 5 people in the club, and so.
Thank you for your question, though. It's much appreciated.
Can I interject or ask a follow-up to that? In part of that question then, if there's 5 people in the club, and I assume in saying that, you're saying none of those 5 people are Black, that still though you find enough, I don't know what the word would be to do this research then still, that you still find the field of study either lucrative enough or rich enough or interesting enough that you can do all of this analytic or discursive work that you can justify as worthy to the academy, and yet not include any of those people within that work that you're doing?
Oh, we do include the people in the work that we're doing. Content is open for submissions. You don't even have to be a Bard student to send to it. We're really open in terms of like who can collaborate with us. There's absolutely no barriers around us. Like any student can come and join the lab and moderate events, just like we're doing.
I mean, are there even Black people at Bard? No, I'm asking this question. Okay, let me clarify that question. I remember going to a private school, like I had a minority girl scholarship, like 8 honor roll, 5th grade, like went to a 40-acre private school. And yeah, like, I mean, I don't think I ever did any extracurriculars I didn't because I was lazy, but I think even when I saw clubs or anything, I don't know, I guess like in places that are predominantly white, I guess for me, the internet was like my safety thing, right? So it's like, I didn't really want to talk to the other Black people in my school because I was like, are they being Uncle Tom, or are they like me? And like, I hate exploring that. And then I hate being disappointed. Because I'm sure any Black person at a school, I'm sure like Bard, like, I'm sure every Black person at Bard is not hood. I've also partied with enough Bard people to be like, I don't even know if I want to be around those Black people. You know what I mean? So, I don't know where I'm getting. I guess what I'm trying to say is that like, I can understand why there probably isn't a Black person in a meme club, because that shit probably sounds fucking dumb to most Black people. That would be like me. Like, if I was in school and like, if I was back at SVA and there was a meme club, I would be like, oh my God, like you people are crazy. It's like even my school right now, people will be like, oh my God, you have your Instagram, like so good. And like some of my classmates would be like, oh my God, like don't be hard on yourself. I'm like, no, bitch, like I don't want to talk about this shit. I also think it's also when it does come kind of like natural, the meme thing, which sometimes is why like literally like, I've done like so many interviews, and like in so many of those interviews I've done, I've also had to redo them because I don't know how to talk about myself, because like what I'm doing is very natural. And like, I guess I don't mind if someone's like practicing or studying it. I used to get frustrated because like I would see people, especially like very like HBCU, like educated, like upper middle class Black people kind of be on talks and panels about memes. And it always felt, there's this disconnect when you bring in class too. It's like, not all skin folk is kinfolk. And I think that's the thing. So it's like, I think even being asked to do this, I don't think I always look at everything in terms of like, oh, there's no Black person in this club. Cause like, it's Bard. Like, I feel like I could probably, I think I've only been there once, but coming from an art school and also working in art and galleries and like knowing a lot of people, I know what Bard looks like. So like, if I'm gonna make a decision to come on here, it's not blindly. At the same time, an HBCU isn't inviting me to come to their school.
Yeah.
And that's because of a class thing. Like, I'm not like, I'm eloquent funny, but I'm not eloquent for like certain people that could probably hand out a resource to me.
I also think Bean asked a really good question involving this, which is at both of you. How did you feel about being asked to participate on this panel?
Before we answer that, I have just like another comment on that note, with like when Laith was asking the question earlier about like why there aren't, or like how there aren't any like Black people on the team. I thought about that too. I was like, damn, like there's no Black people on this like meme thing. But then I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I definitely don't want to do this. And like there's only so many people at Bard College, so whichever Black person actually does this would probably be spread thin. And I think there's even like another layer to add on to this. Like I don't know if we can talk about this in detail, but how the meme lab was created in general, if I can like skid around it without naming names so I don't get in trouble. But it's basically like an alum donation run process. So there is like someone who is not Black and who is grown as hell, who is making this happen right now. And that's also just like another layer. I don't even know what to do with it, but it's just like another piece of information that is happening right now. And like that is a lot of the way that things operate at Bard, not just this club, the meme lab, like a lot of things. George Soros, a lot of things at Bard operate by large donations from pick your white person.
Institutions need to be burned down. But yeah, I think it's true. Like everything you just said, it's like, yeah, pick your white person. And honestly, like any institution, regardless of who's running it in America, is both like fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. But back to Bean's question, if you want to read it out. Where was it?
Yeah, Patia and Sacha, how did you feel about being asked to participate on this panel?
I was happy. I like to talk. I like to talk to anyone. I think it's important to like reach outside of your own insular bubbles and scenes, because it's the only way that like actual information is distributed. You know, I can't, you know, yeah, there's 156 people in here and the account probably has close to 300K, but like when you can reach people outside of that account, it's really nice. And also I think at the end of the day, like not everyone knows everything, and like we're never going to know everything about anything. So I don't know. I can also appreciate the fact that like I wish when I was in school that there was something like this, regardless who the fuck is in the club. But like I wish that like I could see like a normal Black person that's like speaking, that isn't like, I mean, I'm gonna say I'm not cloudy because I can think of like other people in New York that are like cloudy and like actually are like self, you know, like they're actually models and like do these things. And I think that's like one of the things that I think is why Patia's fantasy would always stay the same, and why like I think River, Lane, and I have always kind of like held it down, is not because we're like, oh, we want to be a role model, but like it really is hard to just find normal Black people online that like are just normal. Like I live in an apartment with roommates. I have 3 roommates. I live in Bushwick. You know what I mean? And I think like that narrative is never really told. I think like what people like, especially in society, like people love like a hood Black girl and they love like Kamala Harris. Those are the 2 Black people that people like. They don't like fat Black femmes. They, you know what I mean? Like it's those 2 people. Like, and so I think it's important if we're gonna do representation, which I still, you know, I always think representation is a myth because it does, no one's ever showcasing the average Black person.
Mm-hmm.
They're either showing Black people in a negative light,
Mm-hmm.
Black people dying, Kamala Harris, or the city girls.
Mm-hmm.
Or light-skinned girl with braids. Those are the 5 Black people that everyone knows and like gets off on. And so I always like take opportunities like this just to like show someone, and someone mostly being like a Black person, that like I'm normal. Like I don't know, I'm not trying to be anyone and I'm not trying to fit anyone's mold to make money. And I think like that is something that I think a lot of people don't realize what is lacking in like representation and like things like this. So it's kind of why I do like, and I also like learned to just be like unafraid of what I'm saying. Like I'm sure if you've read my interviews, I kind of like go off in tangents and I curse and I say whatever, because it's just like, yeah, like I'm not gonna like fit a mold for anyone. And I think that like people need to see that. Because the way people do fetishize Black women is amongst those 5 molds and types of people.
How I felt when I got asked to come to, I came for Patia, I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, this is great. I just wanna talk to you and see, like you said, just like talk to a normal person and like.
Yeah, because I've done shit like this, like, or like I've been offered to do shit like this with like other Black people that were very sceney and cloudy and whatever, and I've always said no, and it is really hard and frustrating because like, I mean, yeah, you never really know where people are coming from with why they are the way they are, but like I'm normal and I just want to talk to normal people. And I don't need to talk in like academia. I don't need to talk like, you know, like I like talking in normal, like the same way, like I'm talking the way like
I talk the same way to everyone.
Yeah.
Like if that's not happening, then I'm gonna just be quiet most of the time. Like most people who know that know me, that's how I function.
Exactly, River, no code switching.
Except on the phone with Sally Mae.
I think we might wrap up with this one question from Bard College with a K. Have either of you ever had problems with Instagram moderation?
Not really, no.
No.
Hey, like what? Like we got banned last year.
I got
I
shadowed.
didn't know that. What?
Like suspended or
We
anything.
got banned in March. We got banned 2 weeks into lockdown, I think. Luckily, our besties work at Instagram. It's the worst reality because now when our friends get banned, they're like, hey, can you? I'm like, no. But yeah, we got like wrongfully banned for nudity. And then I don't know, I feel like River and I really enjoyed posting cartoon porn, but that has come to a halt. Or we like censor it better. I personally really love cartoon porn. I think sometimes it's like I have a hard time liking the meme account now because like we used to get away with so much shit back then. And now it's no SpongeBob dick pics no more.
Like also, River, if you have anything to say, please unmute.
Hey, get off the mic.
In the chat, I have you on the top row here.
Here is my sister.
Hey.
Hello, I'm Sasha.
Hey.
River lives
I live in Africa. I just wanted to say I really love this chat. I have nothing else to add. I've been laughing in the background. I hope nobody saw me laughing. I really enjoyed this. All right, that's
We
all I
have
have.
a very special project coming up.
Oh yes, we do.
Can we say it yet? Are they letting us?
No, we could say it on Friday, I think.
What they gonna do if we say it now?
Can we say it?
Don't say it. It's recorded.
We won't tell. We
No
won't
one in
tell.
the UK is
But we
awake.
didn't sign no NDA. We could say that.
Right, we
shit.
didn't say shit.
Say it. Say it.
Patia, you do it. I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, but like if they say we said it, we're just gonna be like, no. Because it could be the people we asked to be a part of it that spread the rumor.
Right.
Valid, good excuse. Okay.
That was incredible, and the audience watching later will never know.
Nothing happened there. Thank you so much for coming to our talk, and thank you so much, Patia and Sasha, for joining us.
Thank you, Sasha.
Yeah, that was amazing, and thank you all so much for the questions. Those were great. This was awesome. Thank you.
If you guys have any other questions, you can just like DM us. Like maybe, I don't know, I have to do homework, so I'm gonna take 3 Adderalls. So I might be in the mood to DM.
Addies at night.
But honestly, better chance of responding if you do the personal.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, guys. And
Thank you. Goodbye,
good night.
everybody.
Yes, Sasha.
Bye, Sasha. Bye.